Hello, it's me, CJ Miller. I'm in my apartment in Shreveport, Louisiana. Across the Red River is beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. Do come check us out. So I'm doing a food video. We'll see what's up. So I've got these four pork chops. I've got them laid in a glass pan. In the bottom of the pan, there's cornstarch, an equal amount of so one part each, basically, cornstarch and vegetable oil and about 2 parts water, and then whatever kind of seasoning that you want to add to it. I put a little bit of kitchen bouquet to get like a darkening, but this was going to darken anyway because it's going to go into the oven. But the whole idea here is to take this and we're going to attempt a baked pork chop. A little bit healthier than frying, lots of flavor though. So what I'm going to do is I've got some red pepper in here, and every once in a while I can kind of baste the pork chop if I need to. I can flip them over or whatever. I'm less concerned about what the outside of the pork chop is going to look like. It's going to have great flavor. I want a good tenderness. One thing I don't want to do with the pork chop is I don't want to dry it out. The pork, you don't want to dry it out. So anyway, this is basil, and then I have spooned over some of the red pepper and the kitchen bouquet to add a little aromatic flavor that I've stirred in the bottom. Did all this, put it in here, stirred it up, and then I put the pork chops in. Then, of course, you can see where I've spooned over. And when my oven comes up to temperature, that's 350. We're going to go lower on the baking here. This is going to go in. This is going to go in, and I'm basically just going to bake it until it's done. Watch it. Pork chops, they kind of cook well. You want to cook them until they're about 160. Uh, I hear 160, 165 internal temperature, but with pork, you really do want to make sure that it's done. Um, with the larger roasted pork or something, if there's a slight pinkness to it inside still, that's okay. You just want to make sure that the temperature is up to 160 degrees for these smaller bits. And I would say for a larger, if this were like a large rack of pork or something like that, or a picnic, maybe you want to do that extra 165 or whatever. But pork, get done till it's done, for sure. Nobody ever heard of a medium rare pork chop. Okay, and then of course, it's time to go into the oven. So what I'm going to do is pause the video, put this in the oven, and when I come back for you, it'll be just a moment, just a quick skip, But for me, some time will have passed. I will consider what kind of side dish I'm going to have with this. So what I want to do is I want to draw attention to the fact that I have a metal pan overturned in the oven, and on the bottom side I have my uh, glass sitting on top. Always want to underline. You can use a cookie sheet, anything. You want to just basically uh, get this off of the metal rack, this glass. Even though I'm only cooking at 350, um, it's just a little insurance. At a higher heat, you don't want to run the risk of your glass cookware, your Pyrex baking. So, yeah, get something underneath that. I always do that. If it's overturned muffin tin, anything. That's just something that I do. So here we are, and the pork chops have been taken out of the oven. The whole time I've been baking, I've been ladling. That's why there's brown sauce over the pork chops as well. I've taken them out and I've ladled them 2 or 3 times. These are done in the oven, I want to say 15, 20 minutes. And that gives enough time for the cornstarch to come in and make just kind of almost a roux, with the, I probably could have even left out or used just a bit less of the oil, realizing that the pork is going to render its own fat also. So don't fret if you don't have uh, the vegetable oil to add to kind of to stir in. You don't have to worry about that because the pork is going to render off uh, oil also. I did add a little bit of vegetable oil. I like that just to ensure. And I think in the future, I'm going to be working a little bit more to tighten up on the ratio. Maybe one part uh, cornstarch and a half part vegetable oil, knowing that the pork is going to render off some fat as well. That's going to be kind of that we're going to be spooning and ladling and everything. And then, of course, as this sits, the sauce that's the au jus, the sauce in the bottom of the pan is going to tighten up its consistency. But we basically can go ahead. Now, what I did was I did my, you know, uh, late obsession, which is a very buttery and cheesy uh, crushed potato. Basically, took the potatoes, microwaved them. Let's put them uh, just in a container with a little bit of water to steam it. Microwave them until they're tender. Pull them out, kind of crush them open, stuff them with buttered cheeses, whatever. So, and so that's just a lot of food I've been doing potatoes basically because I have them and I want to use them uh, while they're still good. If you don't use potatoes, they'll keep for a while, but they won't keep forever. So waste not, want not is something that my mother always told me. So use the food. Okay. So hang on. All right, so here it is plated up. A couple of smaller potatoes, or it's on the smaller side of these potatoes. That's why there's two. I love cheese. Cheese melted in a lot of unsalted butter inside of these potatoes. First, I microwaved them. And then, of course, I'm laying a pork chop. And as you can see, there's plenty of brown sauce from the bottom of that pan. Okay. Not the most heart healthy meal. I'm aware, but yeah, no excuse. I could do better. But anyway, the pork is better than say a deep breaded and deep fried kind of pork treatment. Which I do a lot of that too. But this is just great. This was done in the oven. You can use as much of the sauce on top of the pork chop as you want. If you want to leave the cornstarch out and put in just a touch of moisture, water, and the kitchen bouquet or whatever, just to give it those aromatics or something, or a little bit of, I don't know, if you get like, I don't know, whatever. If you didn't want to use a cornstarch base or whatever, you would just have a much thinner sauce, but you could still get those powerhouse flavors. Um, and it's a good sized pork chop here too. There's four of them. The potatoes are a little smaller. The really ideal thing would be for me to have like one potato and then like a green leafy salad. But salad dressings have to be careful. You want to use, low fat or zero fat salad dressings if you do something like that. And so when I get to the store, and if I'm a single person, so I don't always get through the vegetables before they would expire or something like that. That's something else too, like bringing home like a salad for, I never get through it enough. I do that when there's people over and when I have a group or something like that. Then I'll pick up a salad or some vegetables or something like that. But thankfully, on a keto diet, it's mostly meat, and I can deal with that. I'll come up with any kind of excuse not to eat vegetables. I don't know. It's the man child that's inside of my little head. Like, nah, vegetables, yeah. Okay. Let me taste this. So let me show you what it looks like when we get inside, and I'll cut it open. One of the things that I did was to cook this just up to temperature to where I felt like it would be, and it's certainly done. And then I turned off the oven, and I let it sit into the oven. I let it sit in the oven for a little while and rest, and let the juices, the heat remains in the oven, by the way, even when you turn it off. It's not like suddenly, hey, room temperature. There's a cooling down of it. So, but and it's like, okay, so I let some of the juices, uh, you know, kind of come home to the meat a little bit. Whereas if you take any kind of cut meat, or baked meat, cooked meat, or whatever, if you take it out, put it on the plate, and you start cutting into it like immediately, what happens is you lose the benefit of what happens when you let the meat rest before you serve it. And that is that some of the natural juices, what I like to say, come home, or they get called home back into the meat. They get reabsorbed into it. And so, yeah. But yeah, there's, want to get a lot of the flavoring on here. Let's just taste it. You know what? This is wonderful. Another bonus is that it's everything in here is basically unsalted. I didn't use any. You can, if you want to, use a little bit of things that have like salt added or whatever. We want to reduce salt. When we get a little bit older, want to watch our blood pressure a little bit. And then what else? There's a little, what I used was basil, touch of red pepper in the sauce, not on the meat, but in the sauce, so I could control, by way of putting the sauce on, the intensity of the heat that I wanted. There's actually just enough here to give a balance. You actually don't bite into it and think, oh my God, that's kind of hot. That's not what happens. You do get a sensation of a little bit of a heat towards the end of the, flavors unfold on the palate a little bit. So basically what I did was I microwaved these potatoes, and then I cut them open with some butter and some cheese, and let them microwave for about 30-40 seconds until it kind of melted down a little bit, and then kind of let it spill out the way that it wants to, and just kind of, I love it. If you didn't want to do the potato, you could do chunks of cheese on your plate, just kind of a pork chop with a bunch of cheese on the side of it. I am a very cheesy, I'm a cheese freak, a cheese fanatic. Okay. And yes, I am eating an earlier dinner. It's right around 5 p.m. So it's an early dinner for me. This happens to be outside of, what did I have? I had a leftover, a weird breakfast. Don't you laugh at me. I had leftover mac and cheese with a little bit of, actually with a lot of chicken in it. Basically, at this point, when you do that mac and cheese thing that I did the other night in the other video, where it's mac and cheese with a lot of chicken tossed into it, shells and cheese, basically. And that treatment, what happens is it really comes out like a macaroni and chicken salad almost. So it's really delicious, hot or cold. Anyway, what I did was I had probably about probably about a quarter of a pint, maybe half a cup of a serving of that before I left this morning to go out. And that was all that I had. And so I'm hungry, and so I'm having a dinner here, And one more bite of this. Come on. I thought I was going to, sometimes you get it and it's going to fall off the fork. So it's a very rustic meal, but looks very good. Okay, people, I want to hear some of your favorite suggestions. Let me know in the comments if you'd like. And love and light. Bon appetit. Ciao.